Well, peak hurricane season just a couple of weeks away. I think they have the average date set at September 10th. Well, last year, Hurricane Ian caused more than $16 billion in insured damages in South Florida. Lawmakers say the storm strained the state's insurance market beyond anything the state has seen before. Well, this year, the state passed 3 laws aimed at stabilizing the insurance market and keeping insurance companies in the state and in business.
And WER's Brent Connor reports there are signs things are getting better.
Florida lawmakers say another major storm could threaten Florida's already fragile homeowners insurance market.
There's a lot of concern. You know, the storm season last year put us in a position that we've never seen. We had the largest storm other than Katrina in the history of the U.S. So we can't stand many of those. We have a very fragile marketplace. We have very few national carriers that have deep pockets.
In the last year, 4 insurance companies, including major companies like AAA and Farmers, decided to either leave or limit the number of policies written in Florida, saying Florida has become too expensive. Last year, a state report shows Hurricane Ian cost more than $16 billion in insured damages. To help keep insurance companies in Florida, the state passed 3 laws to improve the state's insurance market, keep companies from leaving the state, and keep premiums from rising any higher. One of them, House Bill 881, expands insurance discount programs for those who harden their home against hurricane winds.
We waited a long time to deal with the real issues that we have in Florida, and that was litigation. When you have 72% of all the homeowners claims that are presented by an attorney that are in Florida in the United States, that tells you that we needed to make an adjustment.
So I would say that we're heading in the right direction. It's not an immediate.
Local insurance broker Jacob Pace says the new laws have already had a positive impact on the insurance market. He says insurance companies are now writing more policies.
I would say we definitely have positive signs on the horizon, and I don't fear particularly that if a bad storm hits the state of Florida that we're going to be just in really bad shape. I think we'll be all right compared to maybe a year or 2 ago.
State Senator Broxson says the new laws will take time to impact insurance customers, but said premiums across the state will go down eventually.
There's going to be relief. What we're seeing now is a spike, but those premiums will go down.
A chaotic police pursuit through 2 counties finally ends with an arrest. Authorities first tried to pull over the driver in Fort Lauderdale after noticing that the car he was driving had been reported stolen. That's when he took off going 100 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic on the turnpike. It took several law enforcement agencies to finally capture the suspected carjacker this afternoon in Palm Beach Gardens. Officers say they believe the suspect is the same person caught on surveillance video in Fort Lauderdale over the weekend, carjacking a man and woman. The man eventually jumped out of the car and called police, while the woman was forced to take money out of multiple ATMs and raped. The chase ended just off the turnpike on Beeline Highway in Palm Beach Gardens near Jog Road. CBS 12's Katie Benty is live tonight near where the man was taken into custody.
Liz, this was a long and wild chase, not to mention dangerous. I mean, the suspect was pushing speeds that topped 112, 113 miles per hour. So he definitely did not make it easy on these officers. In fact, they had to bring in multiple agencies just to stop this man.
Lauderdale, look at him weave back and forth between all the different lanes of traffic here.
A suspected carjacker seen here, sending several law enforcement agencies on a wild multi-county chase.
Well, that white vehicle you see zipping in and out of traffic right there is trying to elude police both in the air and on the ground. Now to the inside lane there, excess speeds of 110 miles an hour here.
The chase started Friday afternoon in Fort Lauderdale. When officers spotted the stolen car, the suspect took off.
We're now into our second county here as far as this police chase goes, Lynn.
The man headed up the turnpike from Broward, crossing into Palm Beach County. Our partners at WSVN Miami had their helicopter out for the chase.
It's been an effort for us to catch up with them because they are driving such a high rate of speed, and they did get a...
Fort Lauderdale police say the suspect could be responsible for a similar incident that happened over the weekend. They say a man was caught on camera hijacking a car with 2 people inside it.
Saturday morning, we were notified by a male victim that a carjacking had occurred. There was still a female victim inside of the car. At that point, it became an armed kidnapping, and we now know that there was some other things that took place during that incident, such as sexual battery.
Fast forward to early Friday afternoon as the suspect makes his way down Beeline Highway in Palm Beach Gardens.
Well over 100 miles an hour now. They said they were saying 112, 113 at one point.
State troopers were able to do a pit maneuver, causing the suspect to spin around where agencies had him surrounded, bringing the chase to the finish line.
North on the turn.
At this time, we don't have any information on the suspect, but we did watch him get pulled away on a stretcher. We'll keep you guys updated as we continue to learn more.
Palm Beach, you can find some of those beautiful views across the waterway to Palm Beach Island.
But you can also find a growing number of homeless encampments, especially in and around Curry Park. And you've seen the park if you've ever driven down North Flagler Drive. It's near the Martin Luther King Jr. Landmark Memorial and not far from the Northwood Historic District area. Now, those people are going to have to find somewhere else to stay as the city has approved a multi-million-dollar transformation into what they're calling a world-class waterfront park and visitor destination. It includes redesigning what's already there while adding dining, public pools, and a rec center.
And our Danny Travis went looking into what the city is doing to help that issue. She joins us with the latest.
Now, we did reach out to the city several times in hopes to be able to speak to their homeless engagement team to find out just how many homeless people reside here in the park and if they even think it's an issue at all. And while every attempt for an interview was rejected, I did receive these emails right here confirming that, quote, homelessness is a complex challenge impacting the city. But what I really found interesting out of these emails is this one right here from Commissioner Kathleen Board saying, quote, if you ask the residents in my district whether the homeless attempting to reside here in the park is an issue, I think most would say, yes, it is. So that's exactly what I set out to ask. Many residents near downtown West Palm Beach are embracing the Curry Park project with open arms.
Well, I think people who live in the North End, and I don't speak for everyone, are excited about the development that's taking place here.
Per the city's webpage on the project, it quotes Mayor Keith James saying the new improved design for Curry Park will enhance the experience, enjoyment, and well-being of all park visitors. But residents I spoke to say they don't want all park visitors to include the homeless.
I definitely would prefer for them to have somewhere to go because I do feel like it's quite a bit of a oxymoron to see the Martin Luther King Memorial and then it crowded with homelessness.
Homeless people have been a long talked about subject for many who live in the area, including the old Northwood neighborhood.
The people that live here are concerned about it because with homelessness, there's vagrancy and there's crime, and that's not a safe place for us to live.
City of West Palm Beach officials again declining to interview on how they are or are not actively helping the homeless here. But two officials do tell CBS 12 News in emails that, quote, we are constantly working to ensure we are doing our part, and some would say more than our part in comparison to surrounding cities. So we asked locals if they believe the city is doing enough to help on what they say is, quote, an important topic.
I do not, because if they were doing everything they could to help out with the homeless situation, we would see some results. And I haven't seen any results.
So I've spoken to quite a few of them just over time, and a lot of them will say that they're promised a place, and then months later I still see them here.
These people need a place, they need to have a better life.
Officials tell us the city does not have an ordinance that specifically addresses homeless in Curry Park or any other city park. But under Section 58 through 87 of the city's Code of Ordinances, all city parks and recreational facilities are closed from sunset to sunrise. This will remain in effect when renovations start and end. But even when the transformation is complete, the city still declined to answer what will happen to the homeless population then.
We believe that if the park is developed and if there's residential development that takes place around the park, the homeless population, it's almost like a problem that will not solve itself, but will relocate itself. Where that is remains unclear.
City officials tell me that groundbreaking for the renovations to Curry Park here are expected to begin in the fourth quarter of this year. For a list of what those renovations include, we have that on our website, cbs12.com.